everyone, welcome to GT Time. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us as always is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including Brandon Jones!
That's me!
Daniel Bloodworth!
Hey.
And Michael Damiani!
Don't strain yourself, Kyle.
Yeah, that's it. I lost my energy.
He's going full on to test our new mic situation.
Yep.
I think you should also introduce our new mugs.
Sure, why not? We each have our own individualized GT Time mugs. I guess they're not individualized, but only 4 exist in the world.
Oh, I know what everyone's drinking.
Describe them for the people just listening.
Okay, they're large and white. It's just very strange to see a logo of a web show on a mug that you're drinking out of. These are pretty great. I think I'm drinking water.
I'm drinking water because I've had way too much caffeine already.
I'm drinking caffeine, thank you very much.
Thank you for drinking caffeine.
I'm sadly running out.
And Michael Damiani is drinking
Not drink. Getting energized. Energy drink. There'll be a secret in there every week. Because I don't drink on the show,
Sure.
I will try and come up with something clever.
I love
And
that
the
idea.
commenters can try and guess what the hell I'm going to put in there every week.
Okay, and then I think you should save it until the end of the episode.
Yeah, we'll do it like that.
We'll like the
Just
big
don't let me
Damiani
forget.
reveal. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, welcome everyone. Welcome to our new studios. If it sounds different, that's because we have different microphones, and this is GT Time.
Yeah, and we're still a little bit work in progress. We're gonna keep improving on the studio.
This is the first thing we have shot in this space.
Yeah.
This is shoot number 1.
Shoot number 1. It feels good. We
can only go up from here, Kyle.
I mean, no. If your first shoot is great, you could go down. When you say we can only go up from here, that was like a really bad day. It's like, you know what, son? You can only go up from here.
I don't know about great. We might get there.
Okay.
It doesn't feel
exactly.
great so far.
We could definitely do worse. I'm really excited about this situation.
Yeah, this is not a great news week for sure.
Yeah, well.
Not that it's bad news.
It's just that Gamescom happened. Any big news that was going to happen happened at Gamescom. Before we get to news, we got to do our clarifications. So begin corrections music. So we talked about Team 17. We couldn't remember what they did. They did Worms. That's what Team 17 does. So check. Now we all know. We talked about those Far Cry keys that you can give to 6 buddies. You have to install Far Cry. You can't.
Yeah, I was pretty sure about that. You guys, when you guys are uncertain, then you get me all confused.
Yeah. Just be more confident.
Yeah. Well, listen, Far Cry. We're also talking about the other stuff, like the.
Well, SharePlay is different.
SharePlay.
You don't need to install it.
I just had it confused. I thought that Far Cry was doing the same thing, but Daniel was like, no, they're not
Far
the
Cry
same.
is not SharePlay. Yeah. It's download the game. So we're all clear on that. Then a commenter named Orenberger went into great detail about the Halo 2 competitive scene and how there were a lot of pro players. And yeah, Orenberger, I agree. There was a scene there, but I still don't believe that the new Halo HD Master Chief Collection will change that current thing. So hey, you know what? If Master Chief Collection comes out and suddenly Halo 2 is back as a competitive game, I will give you a correction. Until then, no correction and corrections music.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'll just let them deal with that.
Very brutal
Maybe
non-correction.
another eyeful on that one.
Yeah, no, and it was a super nice comment too. Is what's he was being incredibly respectful. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe a correction's coming for me.
I remember when they turned Xbox Live off. That was it. That was the game everybody was talking about. Was that like can't play Halo 2?
Oh
anymore.
yeah. A lot of, and they were really cool about it too, and what they did for everybody.
People weren't having like no more Xbox Live parties. They were having no more Halo 2 parties.
Yeah.
So that was the difference there.
A cool game to bring back.
We'll
Halo,
see.
Halo 2, man, I love it.
Oh well, there was also the Splinter Cell multiplayer. Got lost in that.
Right.
Yeah, but nobody was boohooing
I just
about
don't
it.
remember people talking about it that
Yeah.
week.
But that was the good one, right?
Yeah, Spice vs. Mercs, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is that Pandora something?
Yeah,
Pandora
Pandora's tomorrow.
Pandora. Yeah, that was cool. We need more asynchronous games like that. I guess that's like what Evolve
Yeah.
is all
Well,
about.
the last one had it. The Blacklist.
And
The
just
one-
didn't work out right? Nobody
No,
was
it was
feeling
good.
it? Oh,
Like
okay.
it was that was surprisingly good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then why didn't it take off? I guess we just don't want that anymore, do we?
Well, yeah, it's just like a lot of people misjudged the game. Like most people didn't realize the game was as good as it was until they played it.
You're right, and I wasn't even aware that it was in that. Yeah, I guess you're right. Some bad heat buried the game.
Yeah.
You're the problem, Kyle.
I'm the problem, part of the problem. So Blood is part of the solution. Everyone listen to Blood. Go play that game if you're interested.
That's actually probably cheap now.
It's probably very cheap now. So let's talk about news, though. Let's talk about our current state of news. Yeah, it was a slow week. And not starting off with great news this week, everybody. Our first benefit of EA Access is here, and people who have paid for EA Access can now play 6 early hours of Madden 15, a game that doesn't come out until next week.
And if you've paid for EA Access, let us know, because I would be interested to see who's
How
actually
many people have done it?
decided. Yeah, like who's decided that this is worthwhile for them at this point.
If I was a Madden fan, I'd be doing it right now.
Yeah.
6 hours early of a game that you love before it comes out, no question.
But it's kind of weird though, right? Because so you can download that right now, full game,
Yes.
play for 6 hours, and then you're shut off until release day.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
What's weird about it?
I don't know. It's just weird. Like you would think, like maybe like download it a day early, and then just go for it. Yeah.
Oh, give you full reign to it.
Yeah.
So what's funny is EA.
But I mean, you're not actually. It's not like you're paying for the game at that point, huh? You can just play those 6 hours without having bought the game.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge difference. EA actually used to have something like this called a season pass for its sports games, and it's kind of like what you described, is you could play the full game up until release date, and then they would give you rights away from the full game. But that's all gone in favor of EA Access. They're going to stop doing that program. So, Blood, when we first talked about EA Access 2 weeks ago, we talked about game demos. And you said EA Access is going to make you pay for demos, and we had a laugh about it. But there is no Madden 15 demo coming this year.
Yeah.
That's not, and every other year there's been a Madden 15 demo, and then they just stopped
But
doing
you know
it.
what?
Well, how would
Like,
how would Madden handle demos though? Would it be? It wasn't an hourly restriction. It would be like there's only these 2 teams that are available, or there's only
yeah.
like
It'd
how
be
do they
like-
limit the content?
It'd be like you get to play this one game, and so you have to pick between one of these 2 teams, and like you
Yeah,
play
like
this
that's
one.
a demo. I think there's
Yeah.
a difference between like a demo and like gaining
6
early
hours
access.
of playing.
to
Yeah.
a game. I think the hourly thing is a little wonky because it's just begging for people to argue like I was waiting for something to load and my friend had less loading time than I had, therefore he got more hours out of it. If it's like it's like an hourly thing, but specifically like the time that I'm playing, like I was right in the middle of the game.
You don't want to take a
when that
bathroom
6
break.
hours got ended and I
Yeah.
didn't get credit because I'm assuming there's some kind of experience bonus in Madden now. Like they all have like RPG systems now, right? Where like I'm like earning towards a career or like building my players up. I know like
there's a mode
FIFA
like
does that.
Yeah.
But does that count towards your profile? So if like I get this on, so again, like what if I'm like right in the middle of the game when that 6 hours wraps up and then like, well, I didn't get the points for that win, even though I would have won had
That's
I
on
played
you,
it for
man.
5 more minutes.
No,
Maybe-
you knew you had 6
yeah,
hours.
I'm not saying it's a valid concern. I'm saying EA is inviting complaints like
Exactly,
that by
yeah,
having
yeah.
it be hourly.
They may have at
Seems a
least
little
let
wonky.
people finish a game or something. Like it may be like when that game's finished, then you can't play the next one.
My
But I don't know
side bet
specifically.
would be they hard cut you off at 6 hours. Yeah.
Who's
My-
a cover athlete? They should have an update where he's like, "Sorry, man, that's your 6 hours. You're done. Thanks for playing Madden."
They got Richard Sherman is our
Okay.
cover athlete.
Perfect.
And he's the one who, at the end of the Super Bowl, was shouting at the
Oh, right.
sportscaster. So I'm really happy, like he's been able to get this cover. We all forgive him. You know what I mean? We have all been there in that intense moment. I just don't want to see him apologizing for EA. I don't want to see him do it. Sorry, man. But basically, what I wanted to talk about is game demos. It's unnatural for EA not to have a Madden 15 demo. Damiani, are game demos dead, or they just run their course? We don't do those anymore?
I mean, they've been doing less and less of them in favor of like early access and like time stuff like that. My concern with this, like, I don't think it necessarily applies to Madden because unless as you get in the situation which Brandon pointed out that you are in the middle of a game, and you get cut off and you don't get to finish the game and you lose that game. My concern is going to be when it comes to more single player story driven games. Like let's say they did this for Dragon Age.
Sure.
You get 6 hours. That's kind of, to some people, like if it was me and I was interested in a game, that's kind of like nudging me like, hey, I got to rush through this. Like I want to see as much as I can in this 6 hours. So I might not sit back and enjoy this game as much. I might be pushing to get through it faster because, hey, I want to get through the 6 hours further than anyone else because someone else might get further than me and like start talking about it and stuff and spoil it for me. Like I get worried when I don't know if that's going to happen, but that just popped into my head that if they do that instead of a demo, which is a controlled experience, like you can't go beyond this certain point, you only get like this one area or this one section of the map, will that lead to something like that where people start trying to rush through the game because like, oh, I only got 6 hours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a YouTube channel. I'm gonna start like uploading like videos and stuff. Like I'm gonna be the first to get this far and stuff. And then some people might be complaining about your game, like, well, you're encouraging them to rush through it now because they only get 6 hours. Like, give them a certain part of the game. You know.
No, that's a really good point. It definitely affects the way you play it.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely would have rather had the Bravely Default demo that I got rather than playing the full Bravely Default for like 6 hours because I would have rushed through the beginning of that game.
Yeah.
As opposed to having this fun little slice of the game that I could play at my own pace, and like really test things out and really like explore different jobs and stuff.
The one thing I think, though, probably sort of the middle ground of like best of both worlds is, now that now that like downloading a game and everything isn't that big of a deal because hard drives are generally big enough to do that. Like it may be better off to let you download a full game, but rather than giving you an hour cutoff to like actually give you a specific point in the game to cut it off, because like I'm sure that like a lot of what killed Kingdoms of Amalur was that demo. That demo was like they gave it to another team, the team chopped it up, the code got all broken and wonky, and like you couldn't even complete the demo because it was so buggy and crashed so much. And those are not problems that were in the actual game. It was just the demo that was that broken because of how they cut it up to try to make a demo out of it.
Yeah, in that sense, I do feel like maybe demos dying is a good thing because like that's just a ton of extra work that developers have to do. And so, I mean, the sucky thing is demos will still exist whether we get them or not because they appear at E3 and they appear at PAX.
Right.
And, stupid press has to play these games. So the demos still have to be specially made. But yeah, you're right, Blood. In that case where it's just like there's a team spending time working on this demo, good riddance, demos. But I had a question for everyone at the panel. Have you ever played a demo that made you buy a game? You said this demo was so good, I gotta buy this game.
I don't think it qualifies as a demo so much but Civ 5 had a free weekend or whatever on Steam, and so then I ended up playing, and it's a game that I haven't really played Civ games that much in the past. I downloaded that, I played it till I practically made myself sick. I had to lay down on a Saturday.
You had to lay down? At what point was that?
It was many, many hours of sitting and not eating and all of that.
Civ 5 isn't that old.
And then
this is very recent.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. And then and then at that point, I felt like I played that game so much that it kind of deserved for me to actually put money on it. So I went ahead and bought it. But then the funny thing was I never followed up and I never kept playing it after that day.
You just felt like
I thought I was gonna play so much of that game and I didn't get back to it.
Because you played it, you kind of overdid it that first time.
Yeah.
You smoked a pack of cigarettes in one day. But it is interesting that you gave it your money. I really appreciate that. I mean, because I guess in my own experience, there are very few demos I've played where it's just, I loved it so much that I went out and bought the game where I wouldn't have otherwise. Do you know what I mean?
Crazy Taxi, maybe? I'm trying to remember if there was a demo for that.
I think there definitely was, and the thing is, you can play that Crazy Taxi demo and get the whole game, and I think that's the case for a lot of demos that I've loved. One that I thought of when I was trying to think of this, my only example is No One Can Stop Mr. Domino. I played that demo a ton.
What is that?
Oh man, it's a PlayStation 1 game where you are you're just a domino. You are Mr. Domino, and you are laying down.
Is it like Domino's Pizza or just something else?
No, like dominoes, like the little playing tiles.
Okay.
And so you're laying down dominoes as you walk around, and then on your second lap through the level, you knock over the stuff you set up, and they do wacky things around the house and stuff. Oh man, it's so good. Anyway.
And if you didn't catch that, that's Kyle adjusting in the new seats.
Are you talking about my leather noises?
Yes.
So, what, 15 years later, I finally bought it. I was at Game Dude and saw it. I was like, oh, I remember that demo. But anyway, what I mean is, that's the only case in which, a demo, that was so good, I have to buy that game, happened for me. And I do question whether they're even worth it. Do you know whether it's worth it to make demos?
Like everything I think of, like when you ask questions like that, I have to think of like pre-working at game trailers, because like ever since then, like the only games I was playing was just stuff that was coming in through the company. So
Right.
like all the demos I remember the PS1 era were games that I was going to get anyway. It was just like, cool, I get to play Final Fantasy VII early,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as opposed to
exactly.
buying it when I'm already planning on buying it. So
Yeah, and then there's always been those schemes where like we're gonna put this demo for the game you really want,
Right.
and a game you really don't care about, so you can buy those.
that
other
I've
games.
done. Yeah, buy some stupid game.
Zone of the Enders, absolutely. Damiani, what's your
I mean,
example? What do you have?
I don't think it counts as a demo, but betas like have convinced me. Well, a beta.
Really?
I mean, yeah, Final Fantasy: The Realm Reborn. Like
Oh,
the
okay.
original game was crap.
Sure.
So everything I saw about the game was like, nope, 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 nope. And then the beta came along, and I think it was like someone told me at GT like, hey, you just need to, in case we do anything with this, you need to like check it out. So I started playing it. I was like, oh, here we go. You know, this is not going to be fun. It's like, oh no, wow, they really changed a lot in this. And then played through the beta session. I was like, all right, I want to play this more. And like this kept getting me hooked. And I was like, all right, I'm committing to this. I'm going to pay a subscription. I'm going to get the game, and we're doing this.
That's a
But
really
that's
good
a
example.
little bit more than I think that's a little bit more than a demo. That's like the whole trial period. Like play for free for 2 weeks is like the equivalent of what like I think a beta is.
Yeah, and in that case, I do think they needed it. Right? That game had so
Yeah.
much bad.
Oh
press
yeah,
going
they had
against
to
it.
do that. Like
Right.
there was no other way for that. But that was an instance where they gave you so many chances to play that for free for a limited period of time to get, ooh, I like this, or no, this isn't for me. But a lot of people I think played it like it started to generate buzz. So if you know if your game is good and you want people to like get interested in it, you just but then again like that. How long was that demo? It was like for a weekend. So 6 hours for Madden versus a whole weekend with you pretty much had the game that just locked you at a certain like level capped you essentially. So
Yeah.
you couldn't handle the harder stuff. So like in Madden, what could they do there to stop you? Like you have like a whole weekend to play
Yeah.
instead of the 6 hours. Like
And honestly, the Destiny stuff has obviously done that for a lot of people. The alpha and the beta, like people did not care about that game, and now they're in love with it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. So I guess these new like early access to games, betas, 6 hours of Madden is our future, is our effective future.
But I mean, could you fall in love with Destiny in 6 hours? Would that have been enough?
I
play a
think
game
so.
like that.
I think it would have been enough to have gotten through most of that stuff.
That's about all I played it actually, was probably 6 hours or less even.
Just imagine you going up against somebody in Madden that's like deliberately stalling like every single play. Just like, I'll take my time. And you're like, come on, man. 2 hours and 5 minutes left.
I would absolutely do that. That's so
Yeah,
fun.
I don't think time caps it.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the thing we probably agree on. Is capping it with an hour limit is
That's
just
like-
bad.
Yeah.
8 games if you're really lucky, right?
Oh, who knows? They're
Maybe.
way short. And
Well, according to Huber, the tutorial is massive, so you probably wouldn't even get through the whole tutorial. Who knows?
Yeah. 8 hours is a lot of a game though. Or sorry, even 6. 6 hours. is a
Depends
lot
on
of
the
it.
game.
Yeah. Madden, you're probably gonna play it for way
Yeah,
longer
a
than
sports
6
game or a
hours.
racing game, I mean,
Yeah.
you're starting to scratch the surface of that.
Yeah, but like a single player game, I don't know. I don't think they can afford to give you 6 hours.
No.
So that'll be crazy. EA doesn't do a lot of single player games. They've like promised not to even. The Sims. Next thing, game announcements. I love game announcements. This actually happened last week, but nobody figured it out until after
yeah.
recording. Silent Hills was announced last week, a sequel to Silent Hill.
Is it a sequel or reboot? I guess that's the one thing I never bothered to look
It's
up.
not even really clear
Nobody said
what it
it.
is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Nobody
hope it's
said
a reboot.
either of those things.
I think it's a good time to.
I feel like it's like Aliens. I think I'm gonna call it a sequel.
Oh.
Yeah, that is kind of funny, that kind of similarity there.
Yeah, that's my favorite way to do a sequel, is to change the title a little bit, as opposed to adding a number. Anyway, to anyone who hasn't heard, Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro are working on this, and Norman Reedus is starring in it, and that's a game that's going to exist, and nobody was even like hinting about until last week.
Well, you could have read between the lines, but you really wouldn't pick up on it. Like,
What lines should I read between?
well, Kojima was posting pictures with Norman Reedus.
Oh yeah, and even saying in tweets just like, oh, if I could motion capture anyone, it would be Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is awesome, which is really cool. But yeah. Like, how would you have known? Like, oh yeah, he's clearly going to work on Silent Hills. And
Yeah,
this.
like how much is that? Yeah, how would you know that wasn't just smoozing because like, hey, look, I met this guy. Yeah.
And the most genius part of this reveal, this announcement, was that it existed within a playable teaser for a game that was called PT. Just announced during Sony's Gamescom press conference, hey, and now you can go download this weird thing. No fanfare for it, really. Just like go download PT. It's on the store right now.
Yeah, before we get into the demo, I love that. That's actually something that I've become really addicted to, is people in press conferences being like, hey, here's this game you've never heard of before, ever. It's on PSN right now.
Right
And
now
like,
is so
yes.
effective.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that's actually really bold for someone at a press conference, for these executives that want to have all the spotlight and they want all the attention, to tell everybody, go away. You know, like, stop watching us, leave and go do something else that we're giving you for free. Go enjoy it. You know, and like that seems really unusual to me, but I really like it. I think socially, like, we're in a world now where we're used to doing, you know, like playing an iPhone game while I play another game, while I watch a movie, while I do something else. So the idea that like this is the interactive medium, the interactive industry, and like we're being interactive while we're watching these shows, you know, and like experiencing that. It's fun. I like seeing people scream on Twitter and be like, "No one's figured this out yet." Like nobody.
Yeah.
It's been a couple hours. Come on,
Right,
man.
right.
Well, that's the thing too, is he expected to take people a week to get it, and
Right.
I feel like people didn't really get it. I don't know that we've still actually
Nobody
gotten
gets it. Nobody gets it.
Yeah, but but you know, they stumbled across it while they were streaming, and then like, oh, what the heck is going on?
Man, I mean, yeah, just thinking about this. This was PT. Like, you didn't. It was new game, but
Yeah.
they had to be really sure that people were gonna like talk about this game, like word of mouth, to get enough people playing it, so that eventually someone would stumble across this hidden trailer for a new major like property.
Major.
Because what if people just like, let's just say it wasn't good, and like
Yeah.
no one played it. It would just be sitting there. No one would discover this, and Konami's kind of like, well, here's backup players plan B. We announced it at TGS because no one figured it
I
out.
think regardless, I think the game being quality was a bonus. I think
Yeah.
regardless of whether that game was good or not, the fact that it's like there's a thing here that we don't know. I mean, you like Mega Man, all of the stuff you've done with Pop Fiction, like you've seen people that just like I have to know what that is.
Yeah, but
You know?
people aren't digging into bad games. I get that point. Like, people
Yeah.
aren't
Yeah.
doing what they're as dedicated to Mega Man as they are to some.
But it's
stupid
not
PSN
it's not an
game,
experience
you know?
like you would die at or fail at. You know what I mean? You just wouldn't really get anywhere. You know, it just
Yeah.
it's kind of this weird
Well,
nightmare.
but
loop.
one of the things though is like I remember somebody like in a comment, they were like, oh, well, nobody would care about PT if it weren't Silent Hills. I'm like, no, that's not true at all. Like Huber and Elise were loving that when they were absolutely clueless
Yeah.
as to what it was actually
What
was.
PT was.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they streamed that for an hour or whatever. They're like really freaked out by it, and then it wasn't until like hours later that we started getting the word from the internet. It was like, oh, we have to get this now.
Yeah, if it was, I think if it wasn't that good, like the interest, there would have been initial interest, but there was a risk that it would have died off too suddenly, that not enough people would have put enough time into it to possibly uncover what Kojima thought would take people a week, you know, to discover how to like get the true ending, which has the trailer. So that's kind of, I mean, one, it shows that to me this message, like, at least for that demo, like they knew this was good. Like Kojima is a little bit of a genius,
Yeah.
and that he knew that like this was good. But two, like just the dice rolling for that, like, will this like will anyone find it and stuff? And what happens if they don't? Like, what if they didn't find it? Like, what if no one discovered that trailer? What do they do then? Like, because do they drop another hit on Twitter? Like,
Right.
maybe you guys should take like Kojima maybe tweets like, what is this in PT? I wonder. Or
Right.
Konami's like, there's a secret in PT. Like, we even know Konami was involved in it, right? It was
Right, no.
It was 7780.
Yeah, 7780.
A fake developer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing connected to it.
Which is very much similar to what he did with Phantom Pain.
Right.
So
He
now-
loves that, man. Just making up company ideas. I can just imagine him cackling alone by himself.
Because they always have some sort of meaning attached, even.
Yeah.
I bet, yeah, like the Hills, Silent Hills with an S at the end, like that's straight up Kojima. You know, at the end, he's like, oh, you know what you should do? It's a little revengeance action. Just like, you should take
Yeah,
this
because
word.
the S takes
Yeah.
longer to come up on the logo too.
Yeah, I know.
Is this good now?
Trolls
Is
is
when
supreme.
any major press conference that goes by, when they announce a demo is available right now, you think from now on people are just gonna like rush to any demo and just like
Not
try
necessarily.
Well,
and,
it's
like, think that
well,
something's
it being
up?
horror was a huge help. There's a lot of things actually
Yeah.
about the demo that you know, if it was any other genre, I think wouldn't have had as much impact. The fact that you couldn't actually like click on anything, the fact that it was all just Like, I'm staring at this. Okay, now I'm staring at this. You know, being like, is this gonna work? It's not like, oh, this is Trial, so I'm getting used to the gameplay here, or this is Destiny, and I can see myself leveling up and getting these new items. It's like, am I even doing anything right now? Like,
Yeah.
is
That's
this?
fair.
How do you advance in this? How much of this should I be paying attention to? And so much of it was like watching the environment react to what you were doing, and so it's like obviously you want to look at the environment, but at the same time, it's kind of like Fatal Frame, where like you play the game by staring at the scary stuff, and like that's a really great idea
So
for that genre.
yeah, that was basically one of my questions to you all. Is like, do you think this is repeatable?
Yeah.
Do you think someone else who wants to announce their game can say we should do like a little secret
Oh,
game?
I'm sure we're gonna see
Oh,
some
they're
really
gonna
bad
do it,
copycat
yeah.
somewhere.
After now that they've done this sort of twice, like fake studio stuff like that, I think we're gonna see that. But Konami's got one more, Zone of the Enders. That'll be the last clever reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kojima.
Or
Zone of the Enders,
Castlevania.
and Platinum.
They're gonna have to start another.
You know, it would be
Castlevania.
really great if something like Postal or some like comedy franchise like Serious Sam or something like did a PT, but it was like a
Oh,
jokey version of it,
absolutely.
you know, and that was their demo they released at a show, just something really like Conquer, or just something like lots of toilet humor and stuff, because there actually is a toilet in the demo, so you can do it.
It's
Right.
true.
You absolutely
But-
could.
That would be funny. I could see somebody doing.
But I think is also interesting when you're talking about like whether this is good enough, or is that, I mean, even after we knew what it was, even after we'd seen the trailer on other people's streams, we still wanted to do it. Like every one
Yeah.
of us still wanted to solve it for ourselves. You know, like even after we did it in the office, it's like I want to do this at home on my own PS4. You know, I wasn't content until I had figured out all of those steps that I could on my own. You know. So it's definitely pulled you in and was compelling.
terrifying.
Yeah.
And there's not. I mean, when was the last time we've come to work and been like, I played a game last night. It was scary. You know, like that doesn't happen very often.
Only for Huber.
Well, yeah, but Hubert,
A
I
fair
mean,
amount of
you can't
decent
apply Hubert
horror
to any
games.
kind of statistical situation and just like the needle goes flying over the
You
place.
wanted to add something, Damiani?
No, I was just gonna joke that the two best reveals that could be done now in this fashion would be
Okay.
Half-Life 3.
Yep.
Valve needs to completely go
Yeah.
all out on trolling with that and embed it in some like really obscure
stick it in the
like
Team
internet.
Fortress
yes.
map.
Like Half-Life 3 is inside of the letter.
Well,
on Wii
people
U.
already thought the update. Remember in the office we got an email that they were updating like what Half-Life 2 or something with a language patch.
Oh, right,
And
right,
people were
that
like,
was
no,
huge.
there were just Half-Life 3 trailers in there.
Yeah.
And then Shenmue 3.
Yeah.
Shenmue 3 is getting revealed this way. It's gonna be in a Sonic game.
But also, you know what I love about this is that like a Silent Hill sequel was not highly anticipated, and
Right.
like even beyond what this reveal is, do you know what I mean? Just the idea of those three names: Guillermo del Toro, Hideo Kojima, and Norman Reedus. Those attached to a Silent Hill game makes it exciting. Do you know what I mean? And it's cool to see Konami try at least having two big budget titles work in the works.
Yeah. And whoever came up with both, if it was Kojima himself who came up with both how the unveiling of the Phantom Pain with the whole shenanigans in this, they should be paying them a lot of money because they are the masters of getting people to talk about this way longer than anyone really should be if it was just released under normal conditions.
Right, Metal Gear
Like,
Solid
this
5 is
is-
coming. Yeah, that would have worked. You're
like,
totally
people
right.
for weeks are coming up with theories, and now people are going to be talking about Silent Hill probably till TGS, hoping, all right, we're going to get Silent Hill info here. Like, it's insane how they like managed to do this.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess we've decided it is repeatable, but just will be impossible for anyone else to pull that off.
Because it succeeds on so many levels. Like you're
Yeah.
saying, like it's famous because everybody knows about it now. It succeeded, you know, just for the way that it was distributed at the press conference. It succeeds because it's a fun game. It's a gorgeous game. It succeeds on just a story level. I'm really curious about how this is going to relate to the actual story. Just win, 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 win.
Yeah. In juxtaposition to that, I do want to talk about probably not a great reveal that happened this week.
Uh-oh.
Another game announcement that wasn't meant to be announced. Resident Evil Revelations 2 was leaked through images on Xbox.com, apparently. A French site found it.
Yeah.
Of course, it was called Biohazard Revelations 2, but, you know, we get the point.
But then the box art though said Resident Evil on it, didn't it?
It says Biohazard. It says, I can even
Oh, does it?
Yeah, you curious to see what it looks like?
Oh, okay.
It's just an eye. It looks almost exactly like the
Yeah.
box art to
Yeah,
the first
I mean,
one.
it definitely looks like it could be fake.
Yeah, but why would Xbox.com host a fake box art? You
Right.
know what I mean? Basically, it's like we're all kind of sure it's real. Do you know what I mean? It's like not even a thing where it's like, maybe that's fake. It's like,
people like this one.
yeah,
That's kind of the Capcom one.
exactly, because Resident Evil Revelations did well. It performed
Yeah, they made
well.
HD version of
Resident
it.
Evil
and-
6 did not.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is just the PS4, Xbox One version. Because Capcom has no money, so they can't make a new Resident Evil Revelations. So
right. They're
They're
doing
just
this.
gonna put a 2 on it, add like one new mission.
No,
and
it's cross-gen. It's actually cross-gen. You'll see 2 as well
okay.
on your PS3s and Xbox.
It's
Series
still gonna be
Xs.
a re-release with the original one
with
some
extra
content.
levels.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it won't be that specifically, but it probably will be a cheap sequel, right? I mean, I shouldn't assume these things, but I think that the Revelations title, they're using it to kind of make like a side game, if you get what I mean.
Right.
You know, my question is that a good strategy at this point?
Other than Outbreak, what was another Resident Evil side story that
They did the,
itself
that,
got a
the
sequel?
Chronicles.
Oh, the
yeah,
recap
Chronicles.
shooter.
Yeah,
Umbrella
they had
Chronicles got a
the
sequel.
Umbrella Chronicles and then the Dark Side Chronicles. I know that there's others. Didn't Dead Aim have a sequel?
There's all these other like
Code
spin-off ones.
Veronica's sort of.
But that's
weird.
part of the main story.
But just that got sequels in in
Yeah.
and of themselves. Like some of the stuff like that happens in franchises like Final Fantasy a lot.
To me,
that are big enough to
may-
create these little
And
splinters.
could be they're trying to position that they want to have a strategy where they want to have a Resident Evil game coming out every year. So Revelations is like the
Yeah.
old Treyarch developer, and
Sure.
then the numbered ones is the Infinity Ward, the Resident Evil series. So you got
Absolutely.
Resident Evil,
Hey,
Zombie
it could
Warfare.
have been Raccoon City, yeah?
Yeah, it could have been that.
Orc 2. Nope. No, thank you. But Capcom doesn't have enough money to do this, so we're thinking too big here. We gotta
No,
be
I'm-
You and the
simple.
Capcom money.
Like, I guarantee Operation Raccoon City was like a planned franchise. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure they
Yeah.
wanted to do, the Treyarch thing where
Well,
it's just like, yeah, this one will have every
Sold
other
way
year.
better than it should have, and it made them money. They haven't done anything else with it. Though.
I think they know what they made, and I think they know a sequel wouldn't do that well.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I think that happens in
I think they
movies
know it won't
sometimes.
happen again,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. When
One
like a
trick
movie
pony.
does well that shouldn't have, sometimes they're just like, well, we're like Green Lantern. They're like, it did okay. We're just gonna
quit while they're ahead.
Yeah, exactly. But Resident Evil Revelations 2 is, I mean, let's just face it, definitely happening. Is that wrong to say definitely on?
It's happening.
Like, well, it'll be at TGS, and I'll be like, okay, there it is. What could excite you about this game?
I don't know. Capcom already announced their TGS lineup, and it kind of sucks
Yeah.
because they have no money.
If you love
make good games.
Monster Hunter, it's fine, right?
Yeah, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. They got a bunch of swag for it too.
Yeah, when you
Show those tote bags.
did they?
They gotta get people to come to their booth.
I would go.
I might be excited if I don't have to like scan everything in the environment. Isn't there like that weird
Oh.
mechanic
on,
going
on
on?
3DS.
Yeah.
Did that carry over onto the HDs?
How would it not have? I mean,
Yeah.
it was just a.
That's how you got items. Man,
Yeah.
that was stupid. I'm sure they'll take it out because I think that scan feature was there for the 3DS and it was just an integral part of the game.
Yeah, and some of the. I mean, it was a good game, but the creature designs were kind of weird.
Yeah, I never played Revelations. I'm a big RE fan. I cut the retro and I didn't feel like shooting those things. And but in RE it kind of comes down to that. It's like those don't. I don't want to aim my laser at those and shoot them. It doesn't seem interesting to me.
So what are those things? Are they just like puffy, gross creatures?
Yeah, right there. You nailed it.
Right. You want to shoot lickers.
Which is something that has more interesting feedback. Something that it doesn't look like it's just kind of slithering constantly, regardless of whatever I do to it. It's literally I'm just watching like a damage meter drop, and then it like turns to putty.
I think that's a super fair point. Some things feel good to shoot. So when you use the word feedback.
That's why
yeah, exactly.
GoldenEye on the N64. I don't know what it is about GoldenEye on the N64. Just like a bullet hitting somebody in that game.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, I mean, yeah, like what I saw, Killing Floor 2, when that footage still isn't out there, but it's cool, even though I'm not into gore and stuff that much, but it is cool to see like, okay, my bullet leaves the gun and it hits the enemy, and the enemy reacts to where it was hit. Like you just don't get that in many games.
Yeah, absolutely.
RE's in trouble, man. Resident Evil there's no direction for this franchise. And like Tomb Raider had like a really successful reboot, and like Silent Hill looks like it's doing something fun. I think it's a good time at the beginning of a new generation to kind of reevaluate what you're doing for a series.
Yeah.
So to hear like, another one.
I think
Just
it's
not- I'm not
it's
excited.
prolonging that reboot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think it's like we don't have to do the reboot yet because we can put this out this year and maybe next year we'll do the reboot. Damiani, you had something to add.
Not at this point.
Okay,
No.
so what Damiani does to people who are listening, he puts up a finger at some points. And it's like, okay, Damiani's got a point. I'll get it right back to him. But I think I waited too long now. We moved past your point.
Yeah.
You have a notepad, Dom, so you can just.
I think it was just probably gonna be something about their TGS showing.
Are you trolling some more?
No. Oh, it was. It's off topic.
Monster Hunter has
no.
like costumes. That's all you
The
care
Ace
about.
Attorney trilogy. They announced that they're gonna relocalize it, and a bunch of fans are like English fans are getting really angry because they like the goofy original localization. They don't want it to be more like redone. And then someone's like, so they could actually acknowledge it doesn't happen in America because apparently in the U.S. version it says it takes place in
Oh,
America.
right.
It
Yeah.
doesn't. So
That's fine.
That's
and
worth retranslating, actually, I think.
having like new VO and all this stuff. So, but Ace Attorney trilogy.
So what, is that something that's a
Remastered.
good idea?
Remasters, Capcom.
Yeah. It's going to be remasters, I think, for another year. I feel like we have a year of remasters
RE6
ahead of us.
remastered.
You know what I believed? I think at the beginning of the year, I believed that there would be a new Resident Evil game this year, and there would be a new Mega Man game this year. I don't know why I do these things to myself.
I also still think The Last Guardian is coming.
Well, it is. It's obviously coming. We will see it pretty soon.
Should we
Someone
make,
told us
should we
that,
make
right?
the eternal side bet right now? Which will come out first? Final Fantasy 15 or The Last Guardian?
All right, I will take that side bet. Last Guardian will come out first.
Uh-huh. And Final Fantasy 15 will come out first. And the winner of this gets to own the show for like a month.
What does it mean, own the
Own the
show?
show.
Your name is on the show. Kyle Bossman's GT Time.
I don't want that. I don't want to win that bet.
Oh, really?
I don't know. We need something pretty big. But the troll is if we both lose, there's got to be a huge penalty. Like if they never come out, we both got to suffer a penalty.
All right. Here it is. If I win, you have to have milk in your mug for a whole episode.
All right. And if I win, you have to have boba with tapioca in it. Milk tea with boba in it. The tapioca balls. You gotta have that in there.
Like in my mug or as like a whole thing?
We'll pour it into your mug.
Or it's
Yeah, we'll take off that plastic seal, pour it
That's
into your
so
cup,
gross.
and you have those
That's
tapioca
really, really
balls
gross.
right
You
in
gotta
there.
drink balls.
All right, deal. That's a deal.
All right.
That's a side bet.
What happens when we both lose?
Dude, it's going to be like 3 years. We'll have forgotten we made this bet.
And it'll be you'll have to do it a week late because one person in the comments will be like, the bet. You made a bet.
Yeah. Thank you for being vigilant with us. And so, last bit of news. We'll go over this quickly. Xbox One has a Reddit app that was released this week in which you can browse Reddit on your
Wow.
Xbox One.
Cool.
Which of us actually are on Reddit? Because I really never am.
On Reddit. I don't
Well, I
say
mean,
I don't say it
browse
on
Reddit.
Reddit. Yeah. I mean, Reddit, it's a weird thing of the internet. There's a lot of good stuff on Reddit and just a lot of awful stuff on Reddit.
That's the internet.
Yeah, but like Reddit like brings it all onto this one page that's just blue links. I think there's value to Reddit. I guess my question for all of you is like, is this a genius idea or not?
A genius idea. Well,
I'd
Yeah.
say genius is an extremely strong word
Yeah.
for.
I mean, it's an app. It's good to be able to.
It's common
to see
sense,
it,
I
yeah.
think.
You think it's common sense to put Reddit on
Yeah.
the Xbox One? Like,
Why not?
Yeah.
well, like no one else will. Do you know what I mean? There won't be a Reddit app for Wii U and a Reddit app for
Well, it's
PlayStation
because
4.
Nintendo just let's forget about Nintendo.
Okay, let's forget about them for now.
It's Sony and Microsoft right now.
Yeah.
So you don't think there'll ever be a Reddit app on PlayStation?
PlayStation's so far has been very stingy with apps. They haven't done a lot of
Yeah,
apps.
they-
Yeah.
But if they could, if it was more free reign, I bet it would be on there.
Well, Reddit's, I mean, it's crazy. You know what I mean? It is a list of blue links. And when you actually like see what it looks like on the console itself, it's strange. You know what I mean? It does like zoom in on things and make things easy. But like, I can't imagine wanting it there on my Xbox more than on my computer or a phone.
Yeah. You just have your phone or iPad with you and you just get to browse it on there.
But like, I get why it exists. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, hey, this is the most popular website on the internet. We can have the exclusive app on the Xbox One. And like, I could see why it might be genius. It might work out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You gotta take your story a little further. You
Okay.
Like some executive at Reddit, was like,
And it-
"Hey,
sorry.
we got- this app's a big deal, having like, the floor meetings every month. So this development status on the Reddit app is coming along great, and it looks like we have an exclusive buyer, Microsoft, Xbox One. We're gonna be on their exclusive. So let's get that app going right now. So they're
Did
like,
they say
they're
it's
all
exclusive?
They didn't, I don't think,
well,
but you know,
it's timed exclusive. That's the big
Sure.
thing with Xbox One right now.
for the
So,
holiday season, Reddit.
Yeah, it's going to launch on Xbox One. We're really excited about the possibilities with this. And it was probably like a really huge.
There's like they were roaring. They were probably like throwing up
It
confetti.
was a huge priority for them
Yeah.
at Reddit. And then they got it on Xbox One, and they're like, yay! And then Xbox One's like, cool. Here you go. Here's your little space in the App Store, next to like Netflix and Hulu and everything else in the world. Don't
It
worry.
said you could rewind GIFs or something too, right? This is like some weird
No.
That's a
extra
feature?
functionality.
That's a sweet
Rewinding
feature.
GIFs.
I would love to rewind GIFs.
Holy crap.
That is,
Could pause and rewind GIFs.
We are.
I'm a GIF fan. This is actually, that's an appealing feature to me.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think not having Kinect support, was a really big mistake right out of the gate. You
For
can just
what?
activate GIFs with Kinect.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know,
They
or
should have
just-
had that from
No,
the
I
start.
just-
Yeah.
Or just yell things at your Xbox One, and then it would type them out.
I think it does have some
X-
voice and command support though.
Xbox, GIF that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. No, that's funny.
Create GIF, 5 seconds.
Definitely.
You know.
That is such a sick feature. That is such a good idea. If I could say to my computer, GIF that, that would be the rest of my life. I'd quit my job and just make GIFs.
I'm only ever gonna go to my Xbox One for video, ever. I'm not gonna.
So that's actually the real question I wanted to talk to you all about is like, do you ever use those kind of things like web apps or YouTube on your
A
consoles?
site like Reddit is about constant engagement. It's like, do I like the story? No. Do I like the story? Yes. I'll stay here for a minute. Okay, I'm done. Do I like the story? No. And it's like, why would you want to do that on a control? Like, I'd want to do that with a mouse really close to the monitor, get all my information really quick, then go someplace else, throw something up on, throw up Star Trek Into Darkness and sit back with a beer and watch something on my big television. But like Reddit on my big television, I don't get that.
Right.
No, I don't know about like using it as in a traditional sense. Maybe some kind of integration with like if you're playing games or something. I think like I don't use Facebook on any of the systems, but I did link it to my Sony account at one point, and it just automatically posted trophy notifications on my Facebook, which got really annoying after a while. So I disabled
To
it.
everyone. Yeah, nobody wants to know what
But
trophies
that
you got.
like so what if during a game like you or in it like had a headline or ticker app that drew from Reddit, like the ones that you subscribe to, like which parts of Reddit you go to, like gaming, and you get like maybe there's a new like you subscribe to like this topic list, and you get those notifications on the ticker while you're playing. Like you authorize it. It's not randomly doing it to you. You told it to do that. So like if you're in the middle of the game and you don't want to, maybe like me who only has one screen, you don't have like a dual monitor set up for your gaming experience. You have to like go to the controller, like the remote, switch inputs to go back to your computer, bring up Reddit, or you have to like pull out your phone. What if it was just like right there and it's like, holy crap, like that news, like some kind of Reddit news that you want to see.
Yeah.
I'm really reaching for straws here,
No,
but
I
like
mean,
this is
that's
like the
fair.
best. This is like the best scenario I can think of why anyone would want Reddit on their Xbox One. Is like I can just get like
Yeah.
live.
Well, I mean,
updates
that's
on
kind of
my
the
game.
implementation. It's there on the
Yeah.
paint, whatever. What's that? Snap.
Yeah,
Xbox, Snap. Xbox, Reddit.
people watching this on Xbox right now, you're screwing them
I
up.
was just gonna say, Kyle.
Good job.
Apparently, our videos aren't going up on the Xbox app anymore. We got to figure out what that is. We'll get there. Well, everyone, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get them up on that app. What's really funny is, I guess we can say internally, we were really excited for Game Trailer's Xbox app. Like when that was happening, it was like a really big deal at our own floor
It's like
meetings.
finally, yeah.
Yeah. And just I feel like it's very like it's like a huge deal to companies to get their own Xbox apps. And I think I'm not even
Well, you
sure.
get people watching stuff they wouldn't normally watch, Like,
Yeah.
Ian's Seedlings is, like, huge on the Xbox app. And, like, people on the site, like, hate on it.
What do
But-
they say about it?
You can
I
watch
don't
the
like
comments.
this. You call this a show?
Yeah, I mean, they call for it to be canceled.
You don't
and all
show as
that,
well
yeah.
as the other shows show.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff
And
like
so
that.
you're right. Yeah, it is completely different audiences. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? We just ragged on it for 8 minutes, but I think that it will be a success. That is my guess. Is that this Reddit app won't be a bomb? Isn't that weird? I don't know. For some reason, I think it might work out.
Does it need to be big though? Do you think?
No, you're right. It doesn't
Someone like
have to be.
Reddit's like, here we go.
No, I don't. I think honestly, like it's kind of like independently made too. Like I honestly don't think there was a huge meeting at Reddit for this. You know what I mean? I think that honestly it was just like I made an app for Xbox One that looks at Reddit, and they were like, cool, go ahead, And so I think it could work. I honestly think it could work for some dumb reason.
I don't like how tall you guys are. I don't know what's going on.
I've been working on postures because like now like my posture is exposed.
But even when we're straight up, I don't like
Yeah.
it. I'm about even with Damiani, and I mean you I get, but you're no, I don't like that. Guy.
See what I can do.
I
about
like
it.
you,
Yeah,
Kyle.
hunch
I
more,
like how
please.
tall
There you
you
go.
There we
So
go.
that's all our news for this week. We do have a closing bet. This is a weird one, and this one I don't know how to do this one. Madden NFL 15 will have released by next week's episode. What will the Metacritic user score for the Xbox One version of the game be? Damiani, I think it's your time to decide whether you want to go first or last.
All right, I'm gonna troll again. I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Sticking with the lucky number. 7.8.
Fine. Blood, it's your bet.
5.8.
Okay.
8.2.
I gotta go 4.5.
Whoa.
That's my bet. Let's lock it in. Okay, and then let's talk about our last bet. It wasn't last week's bet, it was 2 bets ago. It was what would the file size for the Japanese download of Hyrule Warriors be? Brandon, just so you know, Elise looked at past Dynasty Warriors downloads. She did research on what the
Whoa.
file size for like the last 4 or 5 games was.
Wow.
And she took an average of that, and that was her bet. Damiani trolled with his bet. He took that opportunity to remind us of a
What?
yeah, exactly. You're right. Of a Zelda score that he gave to Wind Waker of 7.8, which astoundingly turned out to be the correct bet. He tweeted out the progress bar, and it was 7.08 gigs, and his bet, of course, was 7.8 gigs, giving him the win of that week's bet. Totals right now: Brandon Jones with 1 point. I had just gotten up to tie Damiani. This was a big deal for me because he took an early lead and I was behind him forever. I have 5 points. Damiani now has 6 points. Daniel Bloodworth stands tallest with 8 points. Though with Damiani at 6, he's catching up to you actually.
Yeah.
Just means
It's all right. I'll win this one.
He's about to, have a streak here. Watch.
Yeah.
You
He
want, like,
always has
next 10 in
streaks.
a
He
row.
goes like 3 or 4 in a row. I know, it's ridiculous. So Damiani, you may close out the show.
All right.
And
so-
also don't forget to reveal what's in your mug.
Oh yeah.
This is our new tradition.
New tradition. I'm gonna forget that. So thanks everyone for watching us here at our new studio. I hope you like it better than the bricks. I really don't want to see a lot of brick comments that I miss the bricks, even though you're gonna do that.
You just assured that there will be at least 50
Reverse
now.
psychology, it works.
Okay.
No. And of course you can follow us at our Twitter handles, which are appearing somewhere now next to us, and video to watch. There's haven't been a lot of videos. Actually, you know what? It's not on the site right now, but if you want to watch a few of us play through Hyrule Warriors while you're waiting for our preview to go up at some point, on our official YouTube channel right now, we have the full playthrough of Hyrule Warriors, the Japanese version. And you can see us playing through that. It's the very first time. You can see Kyle's on it. Like, I think basically everyone stops in at some point to say something.
I didn't. I don't remember what I was doing, but I was not
Fortunately,
available.
no
I think you
Daniel.
were packing up the library that
Yeah,
day.
it was.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It was a really busy time. Huber stops by. Huber's a great rant about something. I forget what part it's about. Not being able to beat PT, so it's very worth watching him get frustrated for once. Yeah, check that out and let us know what you think about those types of videos if you want to see more of those on the site or on YouTube. And again, thanks for watching, and see everyone next Friday. All right, next Friday. Later.
I love the Xbox.
What is in my mug this week? Pikachu.